I was standing on the tarmac, watching the sleek white jet taxi down the runway, my wife, Haley, sipping champagne inside, laughing with her friends like I didn't just exist. My own damn wife had kicked me off her plane. "Sorry, babe," she had said with a smirk that didn't even pretend to be apologetic. "It's a family-only trip." Family. I clenched my jaw as the engines roared, and the plane lifted into the sky. I was her husband, but apparently, that didn't count anymore. Not in Haley's world. Not since her company, Neuralink, had hit its peak. A company that wouldn't even exist without me. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just stepped off the jet, adjusting the expensive watch I paid for, and let her fly away, thinking she had won. She had no clue. She had no clue that I was the reason her empire was standing. She had no clue that I had built the core AI software that made Neuralink the leader in predictive tech. And she sure as hell had no clue that I had the real power, the kind that could tear it all down in a heartbeat. I walked off the runway, my phone buzzing in my pocket. A text from Ethan, my best friend, and the only one who knew exactly what was coming next. "Ethan, she really did it, huh?" Me. "Yep. Took the whole not family thing real serious." "Ethan, she's gonna regret that. You ready?" Me. "Oh, I've been ready." I slid into the back seat of a black car waiting for me. Ethan was behind the wheel, grinning like he'd just won a bet. "So," he said, pulling away. "How long before she realizes?" "Give it 12 hours, I said, smirking. "Maybe less." And right on cue, the next morning, my phone rang. Haley. I let it ring. Twice. 3 times. Then, finally, I picked up. Her voice was shaking. "What the hell did you do?" I leaned back, stretched, and smiled. "Why don't you tell me, babe?" I could hear the panic in her voice, that fake confidence cracking just a little. "What did you do?" she demanded again, sharper this time. I laughed. Not loud, just enough for her to hear. "Oh, you mean the system outage?" Her breathing was fast. "The servers are locked, the AI won't run, and my engineers can't even access the backend. We're supposed to have a major investor meeting in 3 hours. Fix it." I leaned against the counter in my new apartment, sipping coffee. "That's funny," I mused. "Because last time I checked, only family had access." There was silence. A deep, seething silence where I could imagine her face turning red, her perfect, expensive nails curling into fists. Then, finally, she hissed. "You petty little." "Careful, Haley," I interrupted, my voice smooth. "That's no way to talk to the brains behind your empire." She had always taken the credit. Smiled for the cameras, made sure the world saw her as the genius behind Neuralink. But I had written every line of code that made the system work. I was the company, and now she knew it. Her tone shifted in an instant, fake sweetness dripping through the line. "Baby," she cooed, like I was stupid enough to fall for it. "This isn't the time for games. Investors are waiting. Let's fix this together, okay? We're a team." I grinned. "That's cute. But see, I was kicked off the team. Remember? Family only." A sharp breath. Then, all pretense dropped. "I'll pay you," she snapped. "Name your price." I let the silence stretch. Then I gave her the only answer that mattered. "You don't have enough." I hung up. Ethan, sitting across from me, whistled. "Damn, man. You just let her drown." I leaned back, stretching. "Not yet," I said. "She's still got a few more lessons to learn." 2 hours later, my phone rang again. This time, it wasn't Haley. It was Noah, her CFO. "She's losing it," he muttered. "We've got the investors waiting in the conference room, and she's locked herself in her office. Says you did this to screw her over. What's going on?" I chuckled. "I didn't do a thing, Noah. I just took back what was mine." "Come on, man," he groaned. "You know she can't run this without you. The investors are going to see she's a fraud." I smiled. "Exactly." Noah swore under his breath. "Look, she'll never admit it, but she needs you. Just come back, fix this, and let's talk about how to make this right." I exhaled, checking my watch. 2 minutes left. Then, right on cue, my phone lit up with one final notification. The press release. Haley, in her arrogance, had tried to push through without me. She had publicly announced that Neuralink's new system would be live, right now. But it wasn't. Because I had it. The market was already reacting. The stock price was crashing. Noah cursed again, reading the same notification. "Oh hell. This is bad." The office doors slammed open on his end of the call. I heard yelling. Haley's voice, screaming at someone. Papers flying. Chaos. Then, Suddenly, she was on the phone. You son of a... I smiled. Language, babe. Investors are listening. Just fix it, she shrieked. You win, okay? Just fix it before. A new sound cut her off. The sound of her office door bursting open. And then, a voice I didn't recognize. A man's voice. Deep. Smug. Too damn familiar with her. Haley, what the hell is going on? I froze. Because that voice, it wasn't just some investor. It was James. Her ex. The one she swore she hadn't spoken to in years. The one she used to sneak around with before we got married. I could hear the panic in her breathing now. The way she wasn't yelling anymore. James, not now, she muttered, her voice lowering. Oh, hell no. Put me on speaker, I said coldly. She didn't move. Put me on speaker. I heard a rustle, a quiet beep. And then, James's voice, clear as day. Why is he still calling you? I exhaled slowly, my grip tightening on the phone. Good question, James, I said. Maybe Haley can explain. Silence. Then, finally, she sighed. It's not what you think, she said quickly. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Oh, really? Because I'm thinking I just caught my wife with her ex while her entire career burns to the ground. James scoffed. Man, you really thought she was loyal? I went completely still. Haley gasped. James, shut up. But it was too late. The truth was already out. I sat there, gripping my phone so tight my knuckles turned white. My heart was pounding, but my voice came out calm. Too calm. James, I said slowly, how long? Silence. Then, a low chuckle from him. Man, does it even matter? Haley's voice cut in, frantic. Don't listen to him. He's just trying to mess with you. I ignored her. Answer the question, James. Another pause. Then, with a smirk in his voice, he said, long enough. That was all I needed to hear. I could picture it now. Her, sneaking off, thinking I was too stupid to notice. Probably meeting him in those fancy hotels she always had business meetings in. Maybe even on that damn jet, she just kicked me off. She must have realized I was done playing nice because she changed her tone fast. Baby, listen, this isn't. I hung up. Ethan was watching me from across the room, his expression unreadable. That bad, huh? I exhaled, setting my phone down carefully. Worse. For a few seconds, I just sat there, letting it sink in. The betrayal, the lies, the sheer audacity of it all. She didn't just cheat. She cheated while treating me like I was beneath her. She let me build her empire, then tossed me out like trash. But she forgot one thing. I was never just some disposable piece. I pushed back from the table, grabbed my laptop, and opened it up. Ethan raised an eyebrow. What are you doing? I looked at him. Ending this. A few keystrokes. A few clicks. That was all it took. NeuralSync's entire core system, its backbone, the AI that made it valuable, was still my creation. And unlike Haley, I wasn't stupid enough to leave it unprotected. So, with one final confirmation, I executed the kill switch. Instantly, I saw the effects. Emails were already rolling in. Panic. Engineers scrambling. Servers crashing. I sat back, watching it all unfold. Let's see how well she does without me now. The first call came in 5 minutes later. Haley. Again. I let it ring. Then another. Then another. Then, finally, a text. Haley, come back. We'll fix this. Please. I stared at the screen. Then, slowly, I typed back. Me. You chose James. Let him fix it. And I turned off my phone. I didn't need to hear another excuse. Another lie. She had already lost everything. She just didn't know it yet. The next morning, I woke up to a dozen missed calls, all from Haley. A couple from Noah. Even one from her assistant, which was new. I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I made coffee, stretched, and opened my laptop. The fallout was all over the news. NeuralSync stock plummeting. Investors pulling out. Rumors swirling about a catastrophic security breach. It was beautiful. Ethan strolled in, shirtless, coffee in hand. Damn, man. You really burned it all down. I smirked. Not all of it. Just the parts she thought she owned. His phone buzzed, and he checked it, snorting. She's holding a press conference. I raised an eyebrow. That desperate already? Looks like it. He turned the screen toward me. The live stream was already up, and there she was, Haley, standing at a podium, looking composed but not quite pulling it off. I unmuted it. We are working diligently to resolve the current system issues. Our team is in control, and we remain committed to our investors, clients, and partners. She sounded so sure, but I could see it. The tension in her shoulders, the stiffness in her jaw. She was drowning. Then came the questions. Is it true your former husband was responsible for Neuralsync's core technology? Was this sabotage? Reports indicate you've been in contact with James Rourke. What role does he play in this? Her mask cracked. Just for a second. She forced a smile. Neuralsync is bigger than any one person. Our success is a result of a team effort. I almost laughed. A team effort. She wasn't even trying to name drop me. Not once. She was still playing it off like I hadn't been the one holding it all together. Ethan was shaking his head. She thinks she can fake her way through this. I closed my laptop. Let her try. I was done watching. A couple hours passed before my phone buzzed again. Another message. Haley, meet me. 1 hour. The penthouse. I stared at the screen, then exhaled slowly. Ethan watched me. You gonna go? I shrugged, standing up. Might as well. Her penthouse was exactly like I remembered. Cold, modern, expensive. She was waiting in the living room, dressed in a sleek black dress, legs crossed, a glass of wine in hand. She smirked when she saw me. You made it. I didn't sit. Just stood there, arms crossed. Say what you need to say. She took a slow sip of her wine, watching me over the rim of the glass. You proved your point. I said nothing. She set the glass down. You want money? Fine. Name your price. You want your shares back? We'll renegotiate. I laughed, shaking my head. You think this was about money? She tilted her head, feigning curiosity. Then what was it about? I stared at her, at the woman I used to think I knew. The woman who had smiled in my face while sleeping with her ex behind my back. The woman who had used me, then tossed me aside the second she thought she didn't need me anymore. I let out a breath. This was about reminding you that I made you. That without me, you have nothing. Something flashed in her eyes, something ugly. You think you won? I leaned in just slightly. I know I did. She exhaled through her nose, tilting her chin up. So that's it. You destroy everything we built and walk away. We didn't build anything, Haley. I did. And now, I get to walk away while you watch it all crumble. She scoffed, grabbing her wine again. You were always so damn dramatic. I turned to leave. Right as I reached the door, she spoke again. James wasn't the only one. I froze. Slowly, I turned back around. What? She leaned back, a satisfied smirk playing on her lips. You think it was just him? Please. She swirled her wine. You were too easy, too trusting. You never even questioned the nights I worked late. Something cold settled in my chest. She let out a soft, mocking laugh. Poor thing. You really had no clue, did you? I stared at her, at the way she was enjoying this, and something in me just shut off. I nodded once. Thanks for the closure. And I walked out. She called my name, but I didn't stop. I got in the elevator, pressed the button, and let the doors close. The moment they did, I pulled out my phone and sent one final message. Me. Sell everything. Neuralsync was finished. And so was she. I stepped out onto the street, the cool night air hitting my face like a reset button. My phone buzzed almost instantly. Ethan, you really did it? His voice had that mix of shock and admiration. It's done, I said, walking toward my car. Dump the shares. She's about to lose everything. Ethan whistled. Damn, you're colder than I thought. I opened the car door, but before I got in, I took one last look at the penthouse towering above me. Somewhere up there, Haley was probably realizing what just happened. Good. Let her sit in it. I got in the car and pulled away, leaving that part of my life behind. Or so I thought. I barely made it 3 blocks before my phone rang again. This time, it wasn't Haley. It was Noah. I debated ignoring it, but curiosity got the better of me. What? I answered. Noah didn't waste time. You need to see this. Now. See what? Check the news. Now. Something in his tone made me pull over. I tapped open the news app, expecting another headline about Neuralsync's collapse. But what I saw wasn't about the company. It was about Haley. Breaking. Tech CEO Haley Monroe under investigation for fraudulent dealings. SEC involvement expected. I stared at the headline, my pulse slowing to a dangerous calm. I scrolled further. Multiple offshore accounts discovered. Allegations of investor manipulation. And then, buried at the bottom of the article, links to insider trading with James Rourke. I exhaled through my nose. Holy SH. You see it now? Noah asked. Where the hell did this come from? Noah hesitated. Then, anonymous tip. I smirked. That's so. Noah didn't confirm. Didn't need to. I knew exactly where that tip came from. I started the car again. She's done. You think she knows yet? I checked my phone. Still no calls from her. Just silence. She will soon. And sure enough, less than an hour later, she did. My phone rang. Haley. I let it ring. Then again. Then a text. Haley, pick up, please. I watched the dots appear, then disappear. Another message. Haley, you don't understand what's happening. Me. Oh, I do. And you deserve every second of it. Another pause. Then, Haley, if I go down, you go down too. I actually laughed. Me, nice try. I was never dirty like you. No reply. Just silence. Then, on the news, footage of her leaving her office in a hurry, sunglasses on, head down, reporters swarming. I leaned back in my chair, watching. She used to think she was untouchable. Now, she was just another fraud about to lose everything. 2 days passed, and Haley had completely vanished from the public eye. No press statements, no social media posts, nothing. Just radio silence. The last thing I heard, she had been holed up in some high-end hotel, trying to salvage what was left of her career. But there was nothing left to save. Neuralink stock had hit rock bottom. The investors were pulling out faster than she could lie her way through it. Ethan and I were at a bar downtown when I got the next message. Haley, we need to talk. Face to face. I stared at the screen, then turned it toward Ethan. He raised an eyebrow. Man, what else is there to say? I exhaled, debating. Then I typed back. Me where? A few seconds later, the reply came. Haley, the old apartment. 1 hour. Ethan let out a low whistle. Going back to where it all started, huh? I finished my drink. Yeah, let's end it there too. The apartment was exactly the same. Too clean. Too perfect. Like no one actually lived there. Just a showroom of what a marriage was supposed to look like. She was sitting on the couch when I walked in. Black dress. Hair perfect. But the cracks were showing now. The makeup couldn't hide the exhaustion in her eyes. I shut the door. Talk. She didn't move for a second. Just stared at me, her hands clasped together like she was rehearsing what to say. Then, finally, you ruined me. I laughed. I ruined you. She stood up fast, her voice rising. I built that company. I made it what it was, and you. I was the only reason it worked. I cut in coldly. You just took credit while screwing your ex behind my back. Her jaw clenched. You think you're innocent? You think you're some hero in this? I stepped closer, lowering my voice. I never cheated. Never lied. Never stole. Can you say the same? She swallowed, her lips pressing into a thin line. Then, after a long pause, she whispered, I never loved James. I raised an eyebrow. That's supposed to mean something? She exhaled, suddenly looking tired. Defeated. I don't know. Maybe. I shook my head. Too late. She looked away. I thought you'd fight for me. I let out a short, humorless laugh. Fight for you? After everything. Her eyes met mine again. There was something desperate in them now. I lost everything, you know. I nodded. Yeah. And you earned it. Silence stretched between us. Then, she whispered, you really don't care anymore? I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just done. No, I said simply. She exhaled, a bitter smile touching her lips. Guess I miscalculated. Yeah, I said, turning toward the door. Guess you did. I walked out without another word. I never looked back. A week passed. Then 2. I didn't hear from Haley again. Not directly, at least. But her downfall was everywhere. The SEC had officially launched an investigation into her financials. Neuralink was finished. The investors were suing. And James? He had disappeared the second things went south, leaving her to take the fall alone. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Ethan and I were at my new place when he tossed his phone onto the table. You see this? I picked it up. It was a video. Haley, outside a courthouse, surrounded by reporters. She looked smaller than before. Like all the power, all the arrogance had been stripped away. Ms. Monroe, do you have a comment on the fraud allegations? She kept walking, face blank, ignoring the cameras. Is it true your former husband was responsible for Neuralink's success? She paused. The reporters swarmed closer. Do you regret how you treated him? She exhaled, adjusting her sunglasses. No comment. Then she got into a black car and was gone. I set the phone down. She's still pretending she's in control. Ethan shook his head. Doesn't matter. Her world's gone. I didn't reply, just leaned back, watching the city lights through the window. The truth was, I had already moved on. The anger, the betrayal, it didn't sting anymore. Haley was just another mistake I had corrected. And now, for the first time in a long time, I was free. Months passed. Haley was officially done. The last time I saw her name in the news, it was about the final collapse of Neural Sync. Bankruptcy. Lawsuits. Some investors were still trying to recover their losses, but there was nothing left to take. James. Gone. Probably living off whatever money he managed to stash before everything crumbled. As for me, life moved forward. I started my own thing. Quietly. No press. No big announcements. Just me, doing what I did best, building something real. This time, without anyone leeching off me. Ethan and I were at a rooftop bar one night when he nudged my arm. Look over there. I followed his gaze. It was Haley, sitting alone at a corner table. She looked different. No expensive jewelry. No designer dress. Just a simple outfit, hair tied back, staring at her drink like the world had drained her completely. For a second, she glanced up. Our eyes met. She didn't look away. I didn't either. Then, slowly, she lifted her glass in a silent toast. I smirked, nodding once. Then turned back to Ethan. Let's go. And that was it. No words. No apologies. No final confrontation. Just the end. I walked away, leaving her exactly where she deserved to be, in my past.